Hello and welcome back to the channel. It's been a while since I posted any content on YouTube or content on social media in general. For those of you that are new here, my name is Ian Benson. I go by Benson Strength Coach on social media. I am a powerlifter, powerlifting coach, personal trainer. I'm the head coach and owner here at Urban Barbell Powerlifting. And I am now back in prep for Ab Series 15. For anybody familiar with the Ab Series, I tend to compete there. My last couple of competitions have been there. I competed in there as recently as April of this year. And an opportunity has come up for me to compete once again towards the end of November. So I believe it's around November 18th. So yeah, I'm here. I'm going to document the prep, kind of my day-to-day stuff, foods, etc. You're probably going to see some business stuff and different things that I have going on. Definitely in the past, I have found it difficult to be consistent with rolling out content. So I tend to overthink it a bit too much. So I'm just going to point, shoot, and throw it out there. What you're about to see is most of last week's training. I think I'm including the first 3 days in this video. So you'll see that I'm wearing a little mic. Okay, so I'm wearing the Rode wireless Go mics. The problem is that the audio never actually picked up. Whatever I did, I'm not that savvy with camera equipment and things like that. So the audio never recorded on my camera. So when I went to edit the videos together, I had no audio. I thought it would be super handy to be able to just set up my camera, sit it on a tripod, and go, and I could kind of give feedback, or I could just basically interact with the. I basically just thought that I would be able to interact from a distance while using the mic, and in theory I could have, but none of the audio picked up. So therefore, I was left with nothing. So what I've done is I've just done a voiceover for the first 3 days of training, and yeah, I enjoy documenting my preps. I think it's always fun to look back on, and hopefully it becomes a bit more entertaining or informative as time goes on. I am just looking forward to documenting the whole journey through, seeing the prep through, and stepping back on the platform in November. Hopefully you enjoy it. If you do, drop it a comment, give the video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you soon. All right, here's the lifts. So what we have up first here is day one. So day one for me is my primary squat day, my primary bench day. So today's session, we were working up to a top single squat at 8. And then we had some volume. I believe it was 6 sets of 5 at around 70% of that estimate 1 rep max. So you can see here, we're just working up to the last warm-up, which is 220 kilos. Just really trying to grease that groove. One of the things I've been working on a lot is kind of developing more confidence under the bar. As anyone that's been following the channel for a while knows that I've not really been the most confident squatter. So that's something that I've really been working on in terms of my mental game with the squat. So nice little fist bump for Kai, moving into that top single. So I just wanted to cap it at 245. Felt like 245 I would be strong under it. I knew I'd be comfortable, and I knew that I would be confident. It is just week 1, so no real need to rush through everything. Okay, so taking that top single, really just working on hammering down the cues. What we can see there is my knees did kick back a little bit on me. Just one of those things. Overall, I was happy with the lift. Thought that would be quite a comfortable conservative 8. And then moved into some volume work. So 202.5 kilos. This is the first set here. One of the things you see as well, I've switched back to flats in the last couple of months. I was typically squatting in like a heeled shoe. I was using the Nike Savaleo. I would typically use like the Romaleo for high bars, and then I would use like the Savaleo for like a low bar comp squat. because the heel wasn't quite as big. But yeah, switched back to flats a couple of months ago, probably around April or May. Been thoroughly enjoying it. Depth's never really been an issue for me. I think it was just kind of ankle mobility more than anything, and not wanting to warm it up. But that was the first set of squats there. I didn't want to bore you guys and go through everything, so moving on into bench. So today we've got top single on bench. Bench, I was looking for around 180 to 185 for that top single. I'm quite happy where a bench is at, especially since like coming back and fully recovering since the injury. So how I would typically warm for bench is empty bar, straight to 70 to 120, which is what you'll see next. And it's just a couple of reps at a time. So then straight into 120 here. Take that one rep. Again, just really trying to like get that set up, grease the groove of that setup so it's consistent. Just keep hammering it over and over and over again, just that it's very repeatable. I take 120 for a single and then into 150 kilos for a single. 150 is probably my second last warm-up. Again, just really trying to hammer everything down, making sure the back of my head, my neck is nice and flat into that bench, using the legs to get the chest nice and high, driving my chest up into my chin. Plenty of foot pressure there to make sure I'm getting that leg drive. Yeah, 150. Then this is my last warm-up. This is 170 kilos. Take a lift out from this way onwards. I don't always, but you know, I find the lift out quite helpful. 170, making sure I'm letting the bar become motionless on the chest. So really trying to replicate a comp style of press. I think that's one of the important things in training is people don't try to replicate what they're going to be doing in competition. And then you kind of get found out in the day. So we move into that top single, 185 kilos. It was smooth. It wasn't quite as fast as I was hoping it would be, but for day one, it wasn't bad. Then moving into some back offs, quite a bit of volume here, sets of 5 at 135 kilos. Just making sure I'm greasing the groove, keeping everything nice and controlled. I do bench press as well with a relatively narrow grip, so typically ring fingers or pinky fingers on the rings of the bar. If I go any wider, I tend to get some shoulder discomfort. We're moving on to day 2. So this was the following day. Then wanted to get my deadlifts done. So just wanted to get those done. I was kind of in the gym, hanging about. Maybe I had some extra energy, but I was feeling it and I wanted to get in and get after it. So this competition is going to be on a deadlift bar, which is great. So I'm just kind of greasing that groove with a deadlift bar. Again, with the deadlift, I'm going 70, 120, 170, 220 here now. I'll put the belt on from 220 kilos. Just working my way through, trying to wedge through the bar and just trying to like get that slack, create power. I like to really use the whip of the deadlift bar. So how I deadlift on a deadlift bar versus a stiff bar is quite different. So from here, I believe I went to 270 kilos. Yeah, so 270 kilos here. Again, I'm not taking huge amounts of rest in between those sets. Didn't really feel I needed it. Whip and drive through. So you can see I'm still trying to adjust to it. You can see as I drive my knees through the window there and I try to create that power and force off the floor, the bar is just kind of clipping the shin a little bit. So that's something that I'm definitely trying to work on over the next couple of weeks. Then went up to 302.5 for my top single. You create that wedge through and then a big drive and push from the ground. So moved relatively okay. Not my best ever, but certainly not a bad place to be starting. So then just try to work everything that I can, kind of looking at what can I do better moving into the rest of the sets. So for my back offs, sets of 5 here, 232.5 kilos. I think I took the first 3 or 4 sets in just mixed grip, and then I finished out the last 2 or 3 sets with straps. But I only showed 3 sets of this. But yeah, sets of 5 here, 232.5 kilos. Just like I said, still building that volume. I was 12 weeks out at this point. So nothing really to, nothing too exciting going on. Just, again, gradually building the base. Wider the base, the taller the pyramid, you know. I think this is the last one that I show. And then from here, TJ just checking me out. Okay, so that is my deadlifts down. Actually, I wasn't supposed to do them until tomorrow, but just with scheduling stuff, it made a little bit more sense to get those banged out today. Overall, pretty happy with how it went, especially after squatting yesterday. Got up to 302.5 for a single, and then just some lighter back off. So I'm still in a volume phase right now for the next 4 weeks. So intensity's down a little bit, volume's a little bit on the higher end. Overall, no complaints, so happy to get through that. Also had TJ in. I'm not sure if it'll be in this video or if we'll do like a separate one, but just a little bit of stuff on kind of shoulder mobility for low bar squats. I don't know about you, but I personally get like a lot of elbow discomfort and some shoulder tightness when I'm low bar squatting. So TJ comes to Urban Barbell once a month and works with his clients there, so we're going to try and maybe do like a little mini series that once a month, every time he's down, we'll pick some common problems or ailments that lifters face on a regular basis, especially out of the lifters that I would work with, where there's just these kind of like recurring similarities and complaints. Anyone that low bar squats can probably attest to the elbow pain. There's certainly like quite a lot of people who can anyway. So then tomorrow, back in again, I've got a long pause bench, and then some accessories. And that will be Wednesday. So it's Tuesday now. So that'll be Wednesday, will be long pause bench, top single, some back off sets of 4. And yeah. Right now, when I get home, as you can see, we got the little doggy right here. Also with me. Say hi.
Hi.
This is Jamie. That's my boy. So we're gonna go home now, have some dinner, watch a movie, and put the baby to bed, right?
Yes.
All right, Jamie, I'm signing out the video. Say Shine.
Shine.
Look up.
Shine.
Peace.
Peace.
All right, so that's it for now. I will catch you in the next video. Prescribed for the day was a single at 8. I tend to use a single at 8 to establish what that benchmark number is. So once I've established my estimate max for the day, and I use that benchmark RP single at 8, I am talking waffle here, right? But I'm not going to be going back over redoing these voiceovers. Prescribed for the day, top single at 8. That benchmark single is going to allow me to establish an estimate 1 rep max, and then that just allows me to select the appropriate weight for the back offs. Whether I'm feeling stronger or weaker that day, I kind of have it set in. So here you can see we're up to 150 kilos. Check out the pause. Am I being honest? Decent pause there. Like I said, it's important that whatever's on your program, you are diligently following it through. We're up to 170 kilos here. Pretty sure this is where I capped it. The day before, I had just benched 185 with a shit ton of volume. The day prior to that again. Decent pause there. And that was nice and smooth. So I decided to cap it there, move into my back offs. I then had a set of 4, I believe, at 160 kilos. Should really try to edit some of these videos down to be a little bit shorter, but here we are. So relatively decent pause there. I think I could probably do with keeping my chest a little bit tighter. You can see it's just kind of bouncing around ever so slightly. But did feel probably a little bit heavy. So that was up to around RP 9.5. Not quite a 10, not quite a 9. Another couple of back offs there at 152.5. A few more sets of 4. I'm quite happy with where bench is at. You know, I think for the competition, the goal is to bench just over 200 kilos if I can. That would be fantastic. All right, so from there we are moving into high bar squats. I think it's pin bench, I believe. High bar squat is something that I wanted to push in this block. I typically go for a comp squat and then a safety bar, but certainly a little bit earlier on, I felt like I had avoided the high bar, I think throughout all of the last prep. Just because I feel I can lift a little bit more on the safety bar. So one of the things I want to work on over the next 4 weeks is really pushing my high bar squat. I feel like I'm technically reasonably proficient with it. It doesn't beat up my elbows, doesn't beat up my shoulders. I'll also just typically wear like a normal SBD sleeve. I won't wear like the tighter inser sleeves. I'm not sure if they make much of a difference, but they're a bit uncomfortable, so I don't need the misery more than once a week. So just taking the empty bar for a few reps, just greasing that groove. Like I said, I do wear a lifting shoe, so I wear the Ramaleo, the Nike Ramaleo for high bar squats, and then the flats typically for a low bar or a safety bar. And I'll just take 70 for a couple of reps there. Look at that boy. Look at him. Not bad for a big boy. That is all the hip mobility. I have zero, and I mean zero shoulder mobility, but I have all of the hip mobility. Going from 70, 120 next. And just taking one rep on it. Obviously feel pretty good to go. Then go from 120 to 170. Now, with this, I used to take a 150 in between, but that used to I just felt like I was generating like more fatigue than I needed to be. I just have to get out of my head in regards to squatting. Then I took this big jump, and I jumped from 170 to 220. I typically would go to maybe 200, but I said I knew it'd be good for it. I just need to build that confidence. So I got fired up. I was aggressive for the lift. Probably should have taken some spotters, but to be honest, I knew I wouldn't need it. It was only going to be a single at 8. I'm at it long enough to know. As you can see there, it was nice, it was smooth, and I executed it really well. Plenty of power out of the hole there. I was really pleased. That was huge single PB for high bar. Then I had 212 for, I believe, 3 reps next. And that was a volume PR for me. That 212 was more than I'd ever even moved for a single prior in high bar. You can see that the bar does look slightly tilted. I don't know if it's the angle or maybe it's like a shoulder issue, but it doesn't feel slanted or tilted at all when I'm doing it. So everything feels fine. I don't feel like I'm in danger, and I don't feel like, more importantly, I'm putting anybody else in danger. Then I had 202.5. This was my last triple. So you can see that at the 212 was probably starting to get up there in the higher end of the RPE. So I just reduced the bar weight by 5%. That does look very slanted, I'm not gonna lie. You see as I come down, it looks like I'm tilting off to one side, but again, it could be the angle that's exaggerating it, but I feel absolutely fine under it, and I don't get any like, oh, one side hurts. And this is typically, I've always squatted, and I tend to not overthink those things. After squat, then moved into some kind of bench. I thought it was pin press, maybe not. Oh, touch and go. I had touch and go bench. So I took 120, then I'm going to go 150. I actually find, believe it or not, touch and go bench harder than my standard bench press. So into the touch and go 150. I think the way I would typically bench press is I bring it down quite slow. My biceps get really beat up when I bench, especially the closer I get to comp, especially after comp squatting. So for me to maximize the touch and go, I've kind of really had to learn how to come down and build a lot of tension on the way down. So then when the bar becomes motionless, it's like a loaded spring. I'm able to just fire. As you see here, I had to come down slow and then pop it back out. But it's kind of, as I'm coming down, I come down a little faster in the touch and go than typically would, and it just kind of causes this irritation in the biceps. So again, capped it there at 170. It was nice and comfortable. Then some sets of 10 with 130 kilos. Again, pretty pleased with that. Just pumping the volume out. Again, like I said, it is very early days. We're at 12 weeks out, so the volume is going to be on the higher end of things. Just trying to build that work capacity, build that workload. And then drop down to 122.5 to finish out the rest of the working sets. But yeah, overall, I'm very, very pleased with how those couple of days training went. I'm super, super excited to be, coming back, stepping on the platform again. And all right, so that's it for today's video. Like I said, it was just a voiceover going through some of the training that I had done, because the audio didn't pick up for a lot of that training, so I had to do the voiceover on it. I'm sure as I kind of find my groove for vlogging and filming the sessions again, these will become a little bit more interesting to watch, hopefully. Anyway, for those of you that stuck around, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. If you can, give it a like, drop a comment, and subscribe to the channel. And I will see you guys in the next one. Shine, peace.